Welcome everybody to the second edition of the Just Wins podcast. We had a bit of an up and down week last week, but it was great to have you all listening, and we got good feedback online from you guys. Always interested to hear what you guys have to say and any recommendations and ideas. But yeah, let's go around the grounds as normal. I'll start with Adam. How did we go on the weekend?
Oh, not too bad, thanks, mate. We not the best day, but we ended up breaking about square. A couple of place getters. Obviously, my best bets last week, Bandersnatch and also a Middo, were both a touch disappointing, both finishing fourth, which is obviously no help to us. But I think they're both ones that we can probably forgive those runs, especially Bandersnatch, first up from a spell. He did a bit of work to lead. Pested in front by Outrageous, who pushed up, and he tied a little bit late, but first up 1400. I think next start, if he can find a suitable race over a similar distance, I think he'll be one we can follow again. And my good result from last week from my tips was actually the best value, up trumps in first up.
He's a great horse.
370 place or something like that.
He just loves running in place. I thought he was going to loom up and win at one stage, and just with the way that track was playing, he just couldn't pick him up in the straight. But boy, oh boy, I want him to win something because he just hasn't broken through yet. I think don't drop off a Middo yet. I think that track was a bit leaderish on the weekend, and he just got out the back and didn't get given a chance. And I think, with a fairer track, she'll be into the game.
Yeah, I agree. She's doing her best work late. She may even went a little further, which is a surprise, but who knows too. She may even end up in the paddock for a spell because she's had quite a long prep. I think that was her first time out of the placings this prep. So they might, with no Queensland Oaks or anything like that happening this year, they might put her out for a spell and bring her back in the spring.
Yeah, that's it. And I know you're filthy at me about not including Lyre in your tips either.
Yeah, that was a heartbreaking result. The old 1,000-metre squib kicked out in front, and she couldn't run it down. But yeah, I was on each way, and that was a good result for me. I think she was around the $3.50 a place or something like that. So
it was good to see her come back in a bit of form.
Each way value, just she didn't get it.
Yeah,
yeah, she's been just fair all prep, but the blinkers did the trick, I think.
Yeah, I think we were all on it as well. We all, we weren't on her per se, but we all thought there was going to be a bit of a blowout away from Sunlight in the away game, and that's what we ended up getting. So, yeah, we called it, but not quite on it.
Well done on Toffee Tongue, mate. That was a good win by the filly breaking her maiden.
Yeah, that got me out of the poo, and it was a 10 out of 10 ride by Damien Thornton. Started off well and positioned at midfield, but just got shuffled back when they came across, and was able to find the rail. But no, he'll have to do that again this week in the Oaks. And how'd you go, Lee?
Frustrating day, mate. There's a couple of that didn't do any good at all. But best bet ran second, and then one of the best each way bets ran fourth. So, just one of those sort of days, mate.
Yeah. We all get them, but should we stick on them?
I think Kusari, definitely stick on it. It again peaked sort of through the line at 2100. Like if you go and have a look at the replay, it got headed off quite early in the straight, about 300 out, and then this horse come up the inside on it and got probably half a length in front, if not a length in front, and it fought back to within a nose on the line, which is a really good sign, and that was even more frustrating because if it had come back a bit more, it would have snagged third. But so I think it can be one to follow. And then Duke of Plumpton absolutely second. It just got a bit too far back. Leader won. and it just got out and ran on when it was all over, really. So, and I think we'll get a good form line. Shot of Irish goes around at Caulfield again this Saturday, or Morphettville. So we'll get a good read on how it's going through that.
The punters were a bit furious with Duke Plumpton. It was it had that combination that had been winning, and I think this one was just one of those ones where it didn't pop up, and the cheeky Tasmanian got the run through and kept going. So I wouldn't jump off him yet. He was good, just beaten by a better one on the day, or a better runner, I should say. But did we see any, like, I was looking at this segment of what we liked on the weekend, any highlights, and for me, I just couldn't really think of anything out of all three states. Probably the only thing for me was it was just great to see the Odyssey come back in Brisbane, and I think it was like a $20,000 buy, and it just keeps winning, that horse. So great money spinner, and yeah, what did you guys think of the weekend? Any highlights?
For me, mate, my highlight, I can't go past Bellevin in a $20,000 or whatever they paid for as a second hand horse winning a Group 1. That's what those good stories you like to see in racing. We all dream of those types of things, and when you see it happen, it just gives you that bit of hope that it might happen to you one day.
Yeah, absolutely. And I was listening to the radio, and they said Bella Vella actually went to stud and to Criterion, because you guys were saying the owners were Criterion's old owners, so they'd had her as a broodmare, and Criterion missed because his squibs are no good, and so they put her online, and 20 grand and a bit of running down south, and she's got the job done. And I think there's a few people talking about that big Moonee Valley run where she came from last and just rattled home over the 955, and yeah, she's two-dimensional, I reckon. It's a bit of sting out of the ground definitely helped her.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, well, she's gone to another level since she's been down there. I know it's only Adelaide racing, but she's obviously won a Group 1 now. I think she won something like 8. She's won like 8 races or something like that since they've been down south in South Australia. So she's been putting them together no matter where they sort of go.
Yeah, low flying. What do you think, Lee? Anything in particular?
Not really for me, mate. I think it was probably pretty obvious, especially in Melbourne, that it's sort of off-season racing now. And I think that's even truer with the card on Saturday. So there was nothing of note. I know I talked about Miss Frost in Ascot last week, and it did everything wrong. Nearly fell at the start, reefed its head off, and
she nearly got pushed over.
So I think,
the horse and the jockey actually got suspended out of that. So that's the Wild West. Usually, when something's a hot pot, there's all sorts of things go wrong.
Yeah, exactly right. So it'd be interesting to see what happens at her next start, and whether they take it easy with her now after that sort of run, or they go again. We'll just wait and see. But I think I still believe she's got plenty of potential. So she's still one to watch for me. But that's about it, mate.
Yeah, I think you're right there. And from a trainer jockey perspective, I know my missus loves Hugh Bowman, and she was filthy. She was busy on the weekend and didn't have a bet because old Huey Apples absolutely killed it. So, anyways, that's the punt. Whenever you're not on, you miss it, and when you're on, you miss it again. So that's the way it goes. But Adzi, what do we got for Sydney this weekend? Any Huey's Apples for you?
No, I'm probably going to regret not tipping any of Huey's this weekend, but I've got a few tips for the punters. Hopefully we can get some winners this week. At Randwick, we've got a nice little card which is highlighted by the Gosford Gold Cup and the Takeover Target Stakes, both at listed level. So pretty good to get a bit of stakes racing back after last week's card. At the moment, the tracks are soft sticks, but fine weather, bit of wind around. I'm pretty sure we might get to a good 4, soft 5 at worst on Saturday, rail out 3 metres, and as we know, for Randwick, generally quite a fair surface. So hopefully that's the same for us again, and we can punt with a bit of confidence. My best bet comes up in race 2, and that is number 4, Ocean Emperor, in the 2-year-old handicap. This is trained by Bjorn Baker with Jason Collett to ride. I was taken by the first start victory on the Kensington track back on the 15th of April. So about 3 or so weeks ago now. He's had a trial in between, and yeah, that win that I mentioned, he led and he went quite hard. He was challenged out in front, but I was very impressed by the kick he gave once he straightened, kicked away, held on strong. And I think he's just a nice horse that we can get at an each way price, which is good for our best bet. We can back him each way, and I hope that he can get forward, get a nice run, and give a good kick for us and hang on late.
Are we backing him each way here, Adzi? He's $5.50 and $2.15 at the moment.
Yeah, I think we've got to take the each way, just because with 2-year-old handicaps, as we know, there's a lot of inexperienced horses in here, and they can jump up out of the ground with massive improvement. So I think the each way is the go. Yeah. And yeah, last start, he was well supported, and the horse he beat was El Buna. I think that's how you pronounce it, who ran last week. I thought its run was okay last week. It ended up finishing 4th or 5th after working quite hard in the Saturday race last weekend. So I hope that form holds us in good stead for Saturday.
El Buena, that's a Spanish word, mate. Come on.
El Buena. Well, forgive me for my poor Spanish. Yeah. Anyway, and then today I tried to split these two, but I've got 2 best value bets, which are both at double figures. The first one's in race 1 actually, so we got an early start on Saturday.
Doing a lead job here. First 4.
Yeah. Number 7, Derby or Derby Star, however you like to say it. First up for Cody Morgan with Josh Parr to ride. Got a bit of time for this horse. He does only have country form, but I saw last prep he won a race at Moree over 1400. It's very impressive. He looked like a real raw talent. And I felt he would improve as he got older, and obviously he's had a good spell now. First up, had a couple of trials. He's drawn a good gate, good rider in Josh Parr. I expect him to get a good run, just hopefully a touch better than midfield. We settle in a good position. I expect him to be very, very strong late. So I think good value around the $13 mark, $12, $13, I believe he is.
Yeah, $13
each way.
And $4 a place.
Yeah, each way. Probably have a little bit more on for the place, but I think he'll be around the mark for us at a good price.
Yep. So we got Derby Star $13 and $4. What are we doing? 1 by 2 or something like that?
Yeah, maybe 1 by 1.5.
1 by 1.5. Getting technical now. All right, mate. What's your next one?
And then the next one is in actually the feature, the Gosford Gold Cup, race 7, number 14, Aliferous. I have been following this mare, this prep. She's been absolutely flying. I thought it was quite bizarre last start. They dropped her back to 1500 in the Hawkesbury Cup, which was won by Amangiri, who was on the pace. This horse got a long way back. She was last turning and really rattled late. She was only beaten 1.9 lengths on the line, and I think this week back up to 2000. The start prior over 2000 at Rose Hill, she placed second in the Neville Selwood at Group 3 level. She gets in on the minimum 53 kilos. I really feel she's another great each way chance that'll be in the finish, and hopefully at that price we can at least run a place.
Yep, that's Aliferous. It's $14 and $4.20 for the Australian Bloodstock boys. So they've got to come from that wide gate. What do we got? 1 by 1.5 again.
Yeah, I'll go the same stake on her. Yeah, I was hopeful she'll sit maybe midfield, just worse. Hopefully gets a bit of cover there, and yeah, launching late. As I said, I've been very impressed by a number of her runs this prep. And just something extra, just a little speculator bet. A couple of horses I have a lot of time for on this card.
No, we haven't a bet on them though, Anzi. You can't just speculate because you got up there about Vegas Duel last weekend, and now you're speculating again.
No, I'm not. I'm having a small all up on these two. The first one is race 5, number 14, Masked Crusader. As we know, very impressive horse. The last 2 wins, plenty of wraps on him. He's up to Sydney after racing at Bendigo last start. I think he'll be winning at about $1.80. And then in race 8, number 3, one of my favourites, Grey Worm. The race really maps well for him. I expect him to go forward and be hard to hold out again. So all up those two, probably around the $5 mark, just a little unit on that.
A little unit on that. So we've got to start with Ocean Emperor. We'll have 1 unit each way at $5. We'll have half a unit each way at $5.50 and $2.15. Derby Star 13 and 4. And then we'll have Elifris at $14 and $4.20 to place. And a cheeky little all up on Masked Crusader in race 5 and in race 8, Grey Worm, so that's $1.80 by $3.20 is probably what,
$5.50 maybe
or something. Yeah, so that's all.
Nash isn't good.
Nash is good. All right, Lee, what do we got for Melbourne? Ready to hit gear and get on with it and really punt it out for the punters?
Yep. So Caulfield this week. Some big cards, like I said, looks very much like mid-year racing down there. So you've got a lot of horses either first up or about 15th up, deep into their prep. So we'll see how we go.
Just going around for fun on their 15th track.
Yeah, so soft 5 at the moment. There's no rain expected tomorrow, but there's rain expected on Saturday. It's Melbourne, so we'll see what happens there. I'm playing on a 5 or a 6, and I've done form on a 5 as if it's usually for a soft 5, I consider it pretty much a 4 basically anyway. It's just a little bit of sting out, so you don't really need a wet tracker. You just need something that will get through the ground essentially. So here's hoping we don't get a whole heap of rain and this absolutely goes out the window.
Yeah.
But
and we got the rail out 6 metres. What do you think about that?
Caulfield's usually sort of leaderish or front runnish anyway. We'll see what happens. I've looked at it based on that. I probably want to be front half, like last week at Sandown, and that's sort of come true as well. So that's what I'm predicting.
Good call.
Got a couple of bets. There's actually 2 horses I tipped 2 weeks ago that are running. I'm going to back up on one of them, and I'm going to back it again. But the first one, look, I'm not sure if it'll get a run as its 3rd emergency, but I'm going to give it out anyway because I think it's a really good chance. It's one of those horses that can win one of these sort of races. So it's in race 2, down near the bottom, number 17, Diplomatic Measure. McAvoy horse, and usually when he comes to town, he goes half decent, especially when they've been running in Adelaide for their whole career. And like I said, it's just one of those horses that can step up in one of these sort of mid-year benchmark races. There's a fair few horses sort of first and second up in this race, not a whole heap of fit horses. And the ones that are fit, there's been a couple of average runs here and there, whereas this guy just keeps running good, honest races. Won 4 from 8, but this prep he's run first, second, and stepped up each time in grade. Last start was in the same grade, benchmark 78, and ran second by 0.2 of a length, and there's been a winner out of that race since. Steps back at the 1400, which we won the start before. It'll be up close to the speed, which, like I said, I think is a good thing. With the claim gets in at 56 kilos, I just think he ticks a lot of boxes, and like I said, he's just the right type of horse for this sort of race. Because he's up and fit, and I think, and Adzi will definitely remember this. I think a couple of years ago, Brian, a horse called Brian, won a 78 and 84 or something like this. When he was just up and fit, his form was okay prior, and he was just a fit horse. And a lot of horses in those races were first up and just didn't have the race fitness that he had. And 1-2 on the trot, I think. Nadzi, you'll probably remember that, mate.
30. I backed him at the first win. It was 30-1 or something like that.
Oh, of course,
Happy
yeah,
days.
that's it. Of course he did.
Yeah, so that's just the right type of horse I want to be on, and it's 11 or $12. So I'm happy to take that each
He's
way.
going to
Like
get
I
a
said,
start, but mate, he's going to get a start.
don't know. We'll see. Well, I mean, Sikorsky's in this. He's one of the faves, and he's drawn 18. You know, so whether they're going to go that option or not, there's a couple of dual acceptors in it. So I think we might sneak in there.
Yep,
So
fair enough.
that's the first bet for me.
Yep.
We then move on to race 3. And a horse that I tipped, like I said, 2 weeks ago, number 7, Hayington Station. I'm going to back up with that again. It just didn't have a whole lot of luck. It wasn't really held up, but it was just tight between runners. Just didn't get a whole heap of clear running room. And was only beaten a length and a half. And you know, I'd be happy to back a few runners out of that race as well. B Hunter, Kuira Up. There's a couple of nice horses in that. So I'm happy to go again. Jaws barrier 8, so he should stay out of trouble in this. I think there's a couple that will want to get up and lead. I think he probably should sit 3 pairs back, so just on midfield. But I think there should be some good speed in this. As Ruffy Bozoom, who would generally probably get forward and probably test the lifeline. Oasis Girl's been going forward lately, so I think there's the right amount of speed on for this, for something midfield to come over the top and finish over them. And then 1600, I think definitely ticks the box the way he sort of ran through the line last start and the start before. I think he will definitely get the mile. So I'm happy to back up him again at $7.50.
Yep. What else have you got?
Stud Strazy, you right, mate?
Mate, I've just chucked my nostrils out there, so
COVID.
No COVID for me, but I was close to it. That was the Australian flu, that one. Anyways,
and then the last bet I'm going to have is in race 5. Really nice type, number 9, Felicia.
Get out of it. I tipped that 2 weeks ago, so keep going, give us your thoughts.
Yeah, what's your win today, mate? She's got a bit of she's good. She's very good. She won her first start when she took a sit and sat 4th or 5th or something like that. Then went and led and won. Last start, she just jumped awkwardly, sat a bit further back than we probably would have predicted. 4 or 5 deep to turn, and ran third, 0.4 length beaten. So she was a drifter on that day, which tells me she probably wasn't quite right. She draws barrier 2 on Saturday, which I believe she'll probably push forward and either lead or sit one behind the lead, or there or thereabouts. And I think she's just got the most upside in this. She looks a very talented galloper. I'll be happy to stick with her for a while, I think.
Yeah, she was first up for a year as well, so that probably explains it.
Yeah, 67 weeks first up for, so she's had a 3-week break in between.
Yep.
I think she sort of maps well in this race as well. I'm keen to back her. I think she's got some massive upside.
Yeah, well, that's 3 for Melbourne. Any more for Melbourne there, Lee?
No, mate, that's it for me.
All right, so just an update there, a rehash on Lee's tips. We've got race number 2, Diplomatic Measure, who's the third emergency, at $11 and $3.50. Race 3, we've got Hayington Station. He's sticking with the Stokes team, and he's $7.50 and $2.60 the place. And in race 5, he's pinched a tip off me, and he's gone $6 the win, $2.25 the place. Thanks, Lee, for that. We're jumping off to Doomben now. And like every week and like last week and the week before, we've got a lot of double nominations and jockey changes left, right and centre because of the Gold Coast and Sunshine Coast last week as well. So we've really had to try and look at where the jockeys are, sort of think where the trainers are going, and work with it. The rail's going to be at 4 metres. It's a soft 5 at the moment, but there's no real rain predicted. So should be a good 4 come start time. And as usual, I want to be on the fence, close to the speed, to give you the best run. We're going to start off with our best bet in race 7, and we're going with the Edmonds team, who are low flying as usual. In Vanna Girl, she's been absolutely hammered overnight, and I'm furious at it because she was $3.80 second favourite last night, and she's $2.60 now. So I think she's probably bottom odds there, but she will still be winning. So barrier 1, as usual, at Doomben is golden, and even more so with the rail out on a good track. The early pace doesn't look too strong. We got Maya and probably Supergiant who'll come across and tussle for the lead. That'll allow Vanna Girl to probably sit on the fence, pretty similar to her previous run at Gold Coast. She steps up to her preferred mile. She's down in the weights after lugging 60 kilos last week in her victory there. And she's running her usual strong closing sectionals, which we've seen both runs this prep. I'm pretty keen on her. I think she'll get the job done. And she just maps perfectly to get the easy run if she starts well, and should be in the finish fighting it out and hopefully winning. Our best value, found it a bit tough this week. I had to really think about it. In race 2, stuck with Speaking Bad, who I tipped 2 weekends ago for the Duncan team at Sunshine Coast. I'm really worried about her winning, but at the same time, I'm happy to back her each way because she's shown me the last 2 races she's going to be thereabouts. She wasn't disgraced running 5th, beaten 2.2 lengths behind Profit. She was well back in the field and boxed on strongly. Step up to 2,000 will suit her. She's drawn kindly to sit midfield fence, and she carries 53 again after the claim. She probably should have beaten Watch the Cat over the mile first up. Watch the Cat goes around at shorter odds here. But yeah, the big thing for me is she hasn't won for over a year. However, she's been ultra consistent, and with a bit of luck, I think this could be her time. So we've got race 2 Speaking Bad at $9 and $3.10, and that's about it from me at Doomben. But I want to go around the grounds now in one of our favourite bits, and I'm going to ask Adzi, has he got any around the ground?
Nothing I'm keen to have a bet on, mate, but I did find one I'm keen to watch at Caulfield. Race 6, number 10, Southern Rock. Archie Alexander, Jordan Trials to ride. This horse is first up in Australia, has some good form in England. I'm just keen to see how he goes. Looks like he might be a promising horse. Gelded, so good price too. So if you are keen to have a bet, I wouldn't talk you out of it, but I'm more keen just to watch and see what type of horse he is.
Just to watch, no bets there, Adzi, not like Vegas last week.
No bets there, mate. No, I'm not getting stitched up today. I'm nice and clear with my communication.
Righto, we'll plug that in. Lee, what have we got around the grounds? I know you've got something.
Yeah, I've got 2, mate.
I knew you would.
One is I'm going to back again from Caulfield a couple of weeks ago, but it's Flemish a couple of weeks ago. It's out at Morfordville. I know Adzi will be on this one as well. Number 3, Indictment in race 2. I just think it's a good horse. I'm happy to keep backing it. Ran 3rd last start when it was pretty good. Hit the lead and got beat pretty much on the line last 50 metres or so. But it was wide, the trip, and should get a nice trip from barrier 2 this time, and not taking on that deeper race. The favourite, Ecumenical, likes to win, but it's been beating Adelaide horses. And apart from that, it's not a real deep race. So I think at $5, I'm happy to back that again.
Right out.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's one. And then the other one, we'll see how Perth plays because there's supposed to be a bit more rain. It's already a soft 7, so hopefully there's not too much more rain. But we'll see how we go. But if it stays a soft 7 or gets better, in race 3, a horse called Resort Man, number 8, down the bottom there, looks a really nice type. It's won 2 trials leading this, had about 17 weeks off of its first up run. I like when they get back and run on and run smartly through the line at their first start. Just shows that they're a professional sort of type, in my opinion. And he's done that first up, came from last and mowed him down, was pretty easy through the line. So I like a horse that can do that. Like I said, 17 weeks off, won both its trials coming in, has won a trial on soft 7. So I'm pretty confident that at a soft 6 or a soft 7 range, it can definitely win. It just looks a really, really nice type. I think they might go a bit forward. The trials haven't all gone back to the back. They've been sort of mixed with it. So I think it might go a bit further forward from barrier 1. It might sneak up along the rail and sit one back, something like that. But it looks a really nice type, and I think we can follow that right through a prep as well.
Yeah, and I like it when they win on debut and they put them away for a spell. So it shows a bit of promise at $3 there. My one around the grounds, I know Felicia. I love Felicia, and I thought she'd win. I just can't get my head around Ollie jumping off her and going on It's Kind of Magic. And It's Kind of Magic's a $3.50 favourite. Gets barrier 1. I've just got to respect that move. They've thrown the gear changes on her. She'll push for the lead up at Caulfield where he needs to be. Expect some residual fitness there off the Magic Millions. Run where it wasn't really her go, but she started $10 in a very hot race. I'm going head to head with your lead this week, like I did with Adam last week. But
standard.
That's the way the cookie crumbles. and second bet, I'll echo Adzi with Grey Worm. We were both on it last start and got the chockies. I think it's rock bottom's odds now at $3.20. I'm really scared of Snits down the bottom. They raced on the same day. Snits recorded a quicker time and gets a bit of a weight swing. I just think the reason for that is that Grey Worm got it real easy out in front. That was special from Tommy Berry, and he'll probably likely do the same thing. Beat some quality gallopers in there like Trekking and Kenentara. So I think we'll stick with Grey Worm, and it'll be off to the Stradbroke after it wins this. Group 1 banter, South Australian Derby, boys. What are we thinking? Don't jump in.
I was just waiting. I was being a gentleman. I'm going with Warning. Okay, I don't think Dalasan can run the trip. So, and I think I have a lot of time for Russian Camelot, but I obviously have a doubt about the big step up from a mile to 2,500. So I just think the proven stayer in the race is Warning. He draws a good gate. I think he won't be. Last start, obviously very impressive. Got a long way back and flashed home. But today, I think he'll only be a few pairs back, nice and close. And obviously, Group 1 winning jockey Damien Thornton aboard. That's the way I want to go in that race.
What, having that each way, Adam?
No, just the Group 1 banter, that one, mate.
Just a Group 1 banter. All right, write that down.
Yeah.
Watch. Lee, what are we thinking?
I'm not super confident with potential rain around, but if it's a good track, I'd like to back Miyake, number 5. I think at $18, looks a really good potential stayer. I agree with Adzi on Warning and Dalasan. I think obviously Russian Camelot could just blow these away, but just bringing different form. You don't often see Waller go to sort of races like this, and he's gone down this route. Last start, raced against the older horses and won. It was a benchmark 70, but was a good win. Flinders came out on yesterday and loomed and just got beaten by a couple of really nice types. So, I think it just brings a bit different form on in. Looks a genuine stayer, at a deep impact by a Street Cry mare, so should definitely get the trip. Just needs a good run. Like I said, Waller doesn't bring him around down for nothing. So at $18, I'm happy to have something each way on it.
We definitely having something each way, or are we having an Adzi watch?
Yeah, get on each way, mate. Come on.
Each way, all right, no worries. Yeah, I honestly think it's Dalasan who will just win. No, I won't say that, actually. I think it's a very good chance. But I really like the run of Zaydani right down the bottom of the Hayes camp. I went through the recent winners, and we've got Fulfilla, who flew home from the tail, that ran fourth in the SA Oaks, and the other two, Leicester and Volatile Mix, were both coming out of the chairmans. And I think the Hayes have tried to follow Fulfilla's run here. She was shuffled back to the rear, sat alongside Toppy Tum, where Toppy Tum got a magic run. And she had to go wide, was walked several times at the run, and yeah, just kept going. Gets a couple of key gear changes here to get her rolling. She'll need a bit of luck, but she's got that senior jock on. And in what looks like a bit of a cracker of a race this year, I give her a good chance around that $18 too. So I think I'm going to have a half a unit each way on that and see how we go. All right, boys.
Is Zaydani related to Quaffler?
Wouldn't have it. Yeah, possibly. You can look that up after this if you want.
Wow.
I don't have my